Let's go read a book today.
Hello, my little friends. Thank you so much for joining me here on this episode of Let's Go Read a Book Today, where I, Miss Pamela, share some wonderful stories with you right here in my little reading garden. And oh, do I have a great one for you today. But first, I have to ask, do you know what time it is?
It's time for Word of the Day.
Hey there, my little brilliant people! I'm Miss Vocab, that's short for Miss Vocabulary, and I have the Word of the Day for you, where we learn a new word that helps to grow our vocabulary and our minds. So, our word of the day is insecure. What does that mean, you ask? Well, I'll tell you what it means. Insecure means you're not feeling confident or sure of oneself, and you are filled with doubt about who you are and what you can do. Insecure. Hey, why don't you try and use this new word, insecure, in a sentence this week when you're talking to your parents or your friends or even your pet frog? Because the more you use it, you'll never lose it. I'll see you next time on the Word of the Day. Now, let's get back to some reading. Thank you, Miss Vocab. And now, I am so excited to introduce some very special new friends that I believe will help you begin to see the very best in yourself in our story today titled Demi Nicole,
Little Miss Imperfect.
written by Demetria Ballard and illustrated by Cathi Mingus. Well, are you ready to read? I am. So sit back and open your minds because here comes story time.
My name is Demi Nicole, but you can call me Demi. I have a friend who goes by many different names, but I call her Insecurity. Insecurity doesn't feel good about herself. She hates her hair, teeth, and how she talks. Insecurity has a sister named Confidence. Confidence has vitiligo. It is a skin condition that causes white patches on her skin. Confidence knows that she is not perfect, but loves herself anyways. Insecurity started visiting me when I was 4 years old. One afternoon, while watching TV, Insecurity looked at me and said, "Your hair is short and hideous. Put your pink satin nightgown on your head so it can look long and flowy." I rushed to my bedroom and placed my gown on my head. It swayed like a flag on a breezy afternoon. "I look perfect," I whispered, but Confidence disagreed and shook her head. One day after school, I met up with my friends to play a game of kickball. I was playing catcher when a boy called me "Darky" as he came up to kick. I just rolled my eyes and tried to ignore him. Insecurity said, "I told you that dark skin isn't beautiful." "Whatever," I shrugged. On his first kick, he missed the ball and his shoe went flying through the air. Everyone laughed their heads off. He put his shoe back on and jogged back to home base. When the ball rolled to him this time, he kicked it so high it looked like it could have struck an airplane. The ball descended from the sky and landed right in my arms. I looked at him and smirked, that's 3 outs. Then it was my team's turn to kick. We seemed to kick the ball all over the neighborhood. First, the ball flew over one of the neighbors' houses into their backyard. Another time, it went rolling all the way down the street like a tumbleweed. We kept on scoring. The other team got so mad they started shouting, "We want Darky to kick!" It was finally my turn to kick, and the bases were loaded. Confidence gave me a wink to let me know that the team was counting on me to kick a home run. I took 3 deep breaths and got into position. All I could hear was the other team chanting, "Darky! Darky!" I'll show them, I thought to myself. Wearing my warrior face and taking off with lightning speed, I ran and kicked the ball with everything I had. The ball took off like a rocket and carried the ugly words of Darky into outer space. The other team was left speechless as they waited for my ball to return to Earth. "Go!" I yelled to my teammates. We sprinted around the bases. As I passed third, the boy lobbed the ball to home. The catcher caught the ball before I made it there, but it bounced off the tip of his fingers and knocked over another kid's bike. My foot hit home plate, and my team cheered, "Yay, Demi!" Someone threw the ball towards us, and Confidence caught it. "Here's your ball, Demi," said Confidence as she tossed it to me. Then she looked at the opposing team and said, "And her name isn't Darky, it's Demi." With my ball under my arm, I headed home. Insecurity hated when I visited my grandparents and would disappear every time it was time to visit. Trying to capture her was like trying to catch a fat rat in a cheese factory. At Grandma and Grandpa's, everyone would hop into his station wagon. My cousin Jay would sit on one bench, and Confidence and I would sit on the other. While Grandpa drove, he'd hit big bumps, and we'd bounce like frogs on lily pads. Back at school, Rita, Berta, Grace, Gabriella, and I were all talking at our lockers when our principal, Dr. Jackson, made an exciting announcement.
"Students, can I have your attention, please? The girls' basketball team will be having tryouts on Monday after school for all 5th grade girls. Come ready to shoot some hoops."
Rita, Grace, and I all planned to try out. I'll call Uncle Rodney to help me prepare, I thought. All weekend, Insecurity declared, "Even if you call WBA player Stephanie Curley to help you train, you still wouldn't make the team. Your feet look like boat paddles and you're tall like a giraffe." Confidence answered, "WBA player Brinley Grinder is tall like a giraffe, and she can dunk a basketball." That afternoon, Uncle Rodney came over and taught me how to shoot, dribble, and make a layup. As he was leaving, he turned and said, "Remember, play defense on your toes because it will help you move faster." On tryout day, about 50 butterflies fluttered in my stomach. As Rita, Grace, and I laced up our basketball shoes, we heard Confidence shout, "Come on, girls, you got this!" We had to dribble around cones and play against each other. I did my best, and my friends and I all made the team. I watched Insecurity storm out of the gym. The following Saturday, I was having a really bad day. My dad had promised to pick me up and take me to the shopping mall, but he never showed up. To help cheer me up, Insecurity thought it would be a great idea to play outside. We went outside to shoot baskets in the driveway. We We played a few shooting games, and I won every time. Sweaty and tired, Confidence and I decided to walk to the mailbox. Inside was an envelope with my name on it. I opened it up and saw it was an invitation to read a slumber party on Saturday. I couldn't wait. All my friends would be there. A little while later, our next-door neighbors, the Lacey's, pulled into their driveway. As they were getting out of the car, we ran over to see if Tori and Cece wanted to ride bikes. They didn't want to, but Cece said, "Let's go over to the Hoover shed and play in the ginormous dirt pile." We raced over to see who could get to the top first. Then Insecurity grabbed a huge dirt ball and said, "Demi, I double dare you to throw this at the shed." "You do it," I said. Insecurity replied, "If you don't do it, then Tori and Cece are going home and won't be your friends anymore." I stared at the dirt ball for a very long time. Bang! I chucked it at the shed. We all ran away giggling. Then we heard someone yell, "Hey, what are you kids doing?" We saw that it was Mrs. Brown and knew we were in big trouble. I was starting to get a bad feeling about Insecurity. She was always pointing out my imperfections, and real friends don't do that. Now she was getting me into trouble too. Mrs. Brown came to our house and told my parents about what had happened at the shed. I almost didn't get to attend Rita's sleepover thanks to Insecurity, so we haven't talked much since. At the slumber party, we played with makeup, danced, and devoured tons of junk food. We all noticed that something was wrong with Grace. Berta said, "Grace, are you okay? You've been quiet, haven't touched your snack bag, and only took one bite of your pizza." Grace sobbed. "Every day on the way to school, this girl named Insecurity calls me Fatty." Berta cried, "Hey, I know her. That's the girl who calls me Dum-Dum. I told her I have autism, but she said more like dummism." It sounded like Insecurity had been giving everybody the blues. She had told Rita that it was her fault her parents divorced. She had made fun of the way Gabriella talks because her parents speak Spanish. She had also told Julie that she was so short she would fall into the toilet. I grabbed the girl's attention and said, "Each one of us has something that we don't like about ourselves, but we have to realize that we're never going to be Little Miss Perfect. Want to know why? Because she doesn't exist. We have to learn to focus on our good qualities, not our bad. When we focus on the bad things about us, it makes Insecurity stronger and it makes us weaker." At that moment, Berta came up with an idea of having everyone say something they like about someone else. Grace began with, "Rita, I think you are a genius because you always get A's on your homework." I said, "Berta, I like how you stand up for yourself and others." Gabriella said she liked how Julie helped her in class. Berta said she liked how Gabriella was always kind to others. Julie said, "I think you're a great basketball player, Demi." During the movie that night, there was a knock at Rita's bedroom door. "That better not be Insecurity," Rita said. The door opened and the voice said, "Is there room for one more?" "Confidence!" Science! We all shouted.
What a wonderful story and message that we all needed to hear. You know, my little friends, there will come times when you may feel a bit insecure about something about yourself, and it makes you feel nervous and unsure that you are good enough. But you have to always remember, not one of us will ever be Little Miss or Mr. Perfect, because they don't exist. But loving everything about who you are, just the way you are, is always the perfect way to live. I hope you never forget that. And now, one other thing that we never want to forget are the incredible creators of this fantastic book. The author for the wonderful words that become the story that help to grow our mind, and the illustrator for all of the amazing pictures throughout the book that delight our eyes. So, Demetria Ballard and Cathi Mingus, we just have one thing to say to you.
Thank you for writing this book and opening a whole new world.
Well, it seems that's all the time we have for reading together today. Oh, but don't you worry, because I'll join you here again. Yep, right here in my little reading garden on our next episode of Let's Go Read a Book Today. And I so look forward to seeing you again. So until the next time we meet, don't you forget, keep reading. Bye.
I'm just happy you've joined me to read today. Oh yeah, I'm just happy you've joined me to read